So I know most of you have already taken Van Celaya's great class on searching, right? With all the little tricks and tips. So we're going to look at some different places to search that aren't often talked about. And in fact, some of them are so new that they just came out last week. So there's going to be some fun things. But rule number one, no matter what you're searching for, is to always start with a simple Google search. Google is by far the best search engine that has ever been built and ever will be built. They're just far and above everybody else. I used to work for the Air Force Declassification Office in the Pentagon, and we started with a way to try and find out how to decide whether an article could be declassified or not. And we had to have some pretty good search engines in the day. This is, I'm talking 20 years ago. And at the time, we had the best search engine there was. And it was just before Google started. And when we got Google, it just blew out of the water everything that we had been working with prior to that. So always just start with simple Google search. So even if you're looking for an ancestor. So I'm going to, and Van's done this before, so I guess we won't take time to do that simple one. But if you're looking for John McClure born in Kentucky in 1800, then just write that in plain language. John McClure, 1800 Kentucky. And just see what you get with it. That's a great way to start. But there are limitations to that. But you might as well do the most simple thing first and see what you get. So that's rule number one. Okay, the second thing that I want to show you just for fun is some of the new artificial intelligence that's coming out. So artificial intelligence is new. It's not perfect. And it can't be relied on as a perfect solution, but it's a heck of a lot of fun to give you clues. Did anybody take any artificial intelligence classes at Roots Tech? Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing what they can do. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of artificial intelligence and show you where you might have to be careful. While I was sitting in class last week, I just asked Microsoft Copilot, who was Boyce Stones, who's my father-in-law who died. And I said, just who was Boyce Stones? And it gave me a whole paragraph, and it was about 50% correct and 50% incorrect. For example, it told me that he lived in Logan, which is true. Told me that he died in 2011, which was true. It told me that who he was married to, the name of his wife, which was true. And then it said that his grandson, Matthew Whicker, was murdered in Woods Cross in 1996. Well, Matthew Whicker, that was murdered in 1996 in Woods Cross, is my brother and has absolutely no relation to my father-in-law. So how it got that connection, I have no idea. But the fact, the name of my brother and what happened to him was all true. It just wasn't connected correctly. So it was kind of funny. And then it had him, it did not have his wife's name correct. It had him married to his own daughter. So it doesn't do everything right, but it can definitely give you some clues. So we're gonna. We
hope that the clues are some that you already know are wrong, because if not, then the wrong information can get out there.
Well, but it will take you to research that. See what I mean? Because it definitely had some aspects of truth to it. And let's say you didn't know the name Matthew John Whicker, you could go now, search him, and you'd quickly find out that he's really not related. So it will give you some clues. So
John Whicker here in Payson, that's our friend.
Oh yeah, he owned the tire shop, right? Yeah, I've heard a lot about him. He has a daughter named Jamie, which we have a daughter named Jamie. And when we first came here, people said, "Oh, are you Jamie Wicker's dad?" And I said, "Yeah." They said, "Well, she sure is a nice nurse." And I said, "Jamie's not a nurse." It really was kind of funny. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so here's what would be really fun if you would like to do this on your computer is go to copilot.google.com. Copilot is, whoops, wait, I'm sorry, I have that address wrong. I'm just going to have to do a Google search. Microsoft Copilot, your everyday AI companion. So you do have to sign in. You can get this on your phone as well, but you have to sign into your Microsoft account, which, everybody doesn't have a Microsoft account. You might have to create one, but it's free. You can pay for the upgraded version. Why I haven't signed into this for a long time. I'm not even sure.
Is Microsoft on all of our computers in there? That is the free.
Microsoft Bing is. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just a minute. I should have looked this up sooner. We'll come back to that one if we have to.
Just sign in.
No, that's completely free. They have free versions of almost everything, but then you can pay for the updated ones. We'll come back to that at the end if we have a chance. I've got to look up my password, and I don't take the time to do that right now. Where'd my Zoom go? Well, nobody was on Zoom anyway, right? I think I accidentally closed Zoom. We're still recording. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so let me get back to my slides. Where did my slides go? Here they are. Okay, we did that. Okay, Family Search now has an aspect of AI, which we're going to look at in a minute. And so does MyHeritage. It's called AI Record Finder. And we may take a look at that if we have time during the course of the class here. But before we get to that fun stuff, let's do a few other things. So obituaries are really, really important. They might be the only source of a person's life that's actually printed. And so it's really, really good to look for obituaries. And there are some keys to finding obituaries that are pretty important. First of all, you may not always be wanting to look for the word obituary. You might want to use some of these other words, died, death, or funeral, because it might not be printed with the title obituary. And so you're going to have to search within the obituary for these key words. And especially when you have people with common names. I mean, like John Smith, or even, I assume Virginia Temple is pretty common. There's probably a couple of thousand of you in the U.S., right?
I don't know, but my daughter always, whenever she would talk to her folks, they call Virginia Temple. Last week it called the Richmond, Virginia Temple.
Yeah.
Where my son-in-law is a
Really?
yes,
But even
Langley Air Force Base.
like Dal Olson, there's going to be hundreds and thousands of those.
No. Not.
My name seems unusual enough, Glenn Whicker, but there's at least 5 out there that I know of. So it's not, it's important to put distinguishing factors. Okay, so here are a whole bunch of places where obituaries can be found, and you can't find all obituaries in one single place, unfortunately. So I did a search for my grandpa on all these sites, and I just wanted to show you some of the differences. So genealogybank.com, I found 3 obituaries with his name, Forrest Clodfelter, and look how unusual his name is. And I still found 3 different obituaries for him. But And then I went over to newspapers.com, which is owned by Ancestry, and I found 101 matches. Now, those are not all obituaries. Those are just 101 matches of the two names together, Forrest Clodfelder, in newspaper articles in that database. Notice that the name is I put it in quotes. If I just did a search for Forrest Clodfelder without the quotes, what's going to happen?
We're gonna get everything for us and everything.
Exactly. Everything with Forrest and everything with Clodfelder. So I don't want that. That's way too wide.
Is it the full name or just the first class?
Well, that's the thing. Less is more in most cases in a search. If I put Forrest S. Clodfelder, I'd get a lot fewer hits because a lot of the articles aren't going to put his middle initial. And I might miss on some important things. But if I didn't put it in quotes, I'm going to get way too many. So you got to think about how's the best way to get the most possible matches. Yes.
Well, I just Googled my grandfather and put Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
and it pulled up his obituary, his headstone, his siblings, his children, his
Yeah.
wife, his all of that.
Yeah.
Just from that you said.
So that helps a lot. Okay, I went to Utah Digital Newspapers, which is a free database, and I only got 4 results with his name, and that's because he only lived in Utah the last 10 years of his life, and the rest of his life was in Colorado and Kansas. So if you know they're in Utah Digital Newspapers is a good place to go. The Library of Congress has a whole bunch of historic American newspapers. And if you go to Chronicling America within the Library of Congress, you'll be able to find a lot of old newspapers that may mention your ancestor. So it's loc.gov is the Library of Congress. And then underneath it, there's a section called Chronicling America. It has a whole bunch of newspapers. There's obitsarchive.com, which is a new one. I went there and I found a whole bunch of my relatives that are buried in the Kaysville, Utah cemetery, but I didn't find any of my relatives that are buried in Grand Junction, Colorado cemetery. So they haven't got all of the cemeteries put together yet, but I guess they're working on it. Newspaperarchive.com, which is owned by the company called Storage. I found 57 results and for Forrest Clodfelder. So it has about half of what newspapers.com had, but they're not the same articles. They're not the same newspaper articles, so it's not duplicated. There may be a couple that are the same, but not much. Last week,
Archive is the difference. It says newspaper archive.
well, it's a different company. Newspaperarchive.com is a different company than newspapers.com. Newspapers.com is owned by Ancestry. Newspaperarchive.com is owned by Story. My Heritage just at Roots Tech last week started up their oldnews.com, which is owned by My Heritage. And what's so good about it is it has really small town newspapers. I found articles in there of my grandfather from Udall, Kansas, which is a very, very small town. So that really surprised me.
Have to add to the subscription the church has, like if we come here and we get old news from my area, it's not an extra fee. That's
You can just go to myheritage.com and get to it. Yeah.
I don't know how correct that one is either, because they just notified me that my brother is my half brother and I was there and all that, but just to tell me that it's his birthday, it's your half brother's birthday.
Oh,
I'm like,
interesting.
so how do we change that?
Well, you won't be able to change that. You just have to make sure it's correct in your. because it may be getting that from somebody who uploaded something that has incorrect information and it's just drawing from it. You can't change the original source because you don't even know where the original source would be. Okay, and then there's also under Google News Archive search, it will search not only newspapers, but it has magazines as well and other resources. And there's a list of all the available newspapers here under google.com/newspapers. And, and this list is much longer than this, but I just, I found that in oldnews.com, there were 35 hits for my grandfather. In North Carolina newspapers from 1852 on until 2009, there were 7. In Indiana newspapers, there were 2. And in the newspaper index, there was only 1. So I just did this as a test to see how much I'd be able to find, how much different stuff, depending on where I looked, how much differences there would be. And there's a lot of differences. There's also this open access digital newspapers. There are a lot of paid places that you can go for newspapers of little towns, but this one is good because it's open access, meaning there's no pay, and it's the National Digital Newspaper Project. That's a long URL, but if you just search for NDNP, you should be able to find it. And it's from the University of Illinois. And they have a really good list of small town newspapers that are completely free to access. So those are some good newspaper resources that I sure enjoy looking at. I've always just used newspapers.com in the past, thinking that that was where most everything would be. But when I did this, I found out that no, there's a lot more information out there. But
Is newspapers.com from Ancestry free with our church account?
no, but it is in the building here. Okay, when you're searching for females, just remember how the world used to be. And all 5 of these searches could bring up results for the same person. So Mrs. Richard E. Martin or Mrs. Richard, parentheses, Ruth Martin, Mrs. R.E. Martin or Ruth Smith by her maiden name, or Ruth Martin by her married name. So that's an important feature to remember if you're looking for females. Look for alternate names as well. William is often abbreviated WM. Thomas, that one I didn't know. Patrick, I knew Pat, but I didn't know PATK was an abbreviation for Patrick or PATR. But they advise that that's what you can look for. Dan is obvious for Daniel, or Danny is obvious for Daniel, but did you ever see Daniel? Have you? Maggie is a nickname for who? And Beth. Elizabeth. Yep. So remember to consider other spellings when you're doing your searches, because you can use wildcards, but if I was, for example, if I was searching for Patrick, I would probably search for PAT asterisk, because the asterisks means any number of characters past the PAT.
Which side are you putting the at?
After the T, wherever the next letters would come.
Oh,
So you put PAT asterisk, and that would bring up this and Patrick, because it's saying the wild card asterisk says any number of characters can follow what you've got in front of it. Okay. Now let's look at some of the some of the new functions in Family Search. To get to Family Search Labs, it's not a live, I mean, it is live, but it's not available from directly within Family Search. So you have to actually type it in, familysearch.org, and then type labs after familysearch.org. And what it comes up with, they'll have more experiments coming out all the time. So this is where you want to go to just play around. So you have to sign in to your Family Search account, which I do remember my password for that. It shows you the available experiments right now. So the one I'm going to show you first is this: expand your search with full text. And I've got it turned on. When you go in, it'll be turned off. So you'll have to click this to turn it on. The expand your search with full text. All right, now there's only two databases in here, but they're going to be adding databases all the time. The two that are in here right now are it'll show us when we go to the experiment. It'll show you what databases are included in the full text search. I think it tells you, doesn't it? Anyway, there they are. U.S. land and probate records are in here, and Mexico notary records. So it was the U.S. land and probate records that I was interested in, because we've got a roadblock in our Family Search that's been 40 years. And that is that we can't find John Jefferson McClure's parents. So I went in here at Roots Tech last week and just said, hey, I wonder if this would help any. So I first put in John J. McClure, and this is going to be a demonstration about less is more for you here. I put in John J. McClure because I was pretty sure nobody would have written out his long middle name, Jefferson. So I put in John J. McClure, and I got 69 million results. Okay. So that's way too much. So I decided that I'd take out the letter J and try it again. And I go in here and cut it down to 42 million. Okay. So
Why do you think that we cut it down to 42 by removing the J? I would think that the J would narrow it down more than just John McClure. Does that make sense?
no.
There's no, quotation mark, so it's gonna look for every John and every McClure. And you add a J in there, it's gonna look for everything.
Yeah. The thing is, if you search for John J, you're restricting yourself too much. So I don't know. Let's see what happens when I put the quotation marks on here. We're at 42 million. Wow, that's amazing.
Only.
But it does prioritize them. It thinks that the top ones are the more sure one. Now we're down to 30,000 by putting the quotes in. So you see how it keeps narrowing this down.
That's doable.
Yeah, that's doable. But look, I only had to scroll down about 10 to find what I was looking for. So here's Pennsylvania. I already know that I'm looking for him in Missouri. So I'm not even going to take any time with Pennsylvania, or that's her name. I don't know. I don't know where that is. There's Maryland. There's Virginia again. Virginia, New York, Georgia, Philadelphia, Virginia, Pendleton. I guess it's a little further down than 10. I'm looking for Missouri.
Missouri.
But it was only about this morning. I'm going to try putting Missouri in here. It doesn't have a whole lot of fields for you to fill out. Oh, I know what it was. Let me try putting Missouri right here after John McClure. See what we got. No, we're back up to 3 million.
Huh.
But I am in Missouri now. So there's two Missouris, and it's Putnam County, Missouri. Illinois. Oh, be darned. Yeah, it's not even alphabetical, is it? Huh. Came right up this morning.
I guess it pays whenever you find something to.
Well, I did.
Now, doesn't it?
It allows you to put it in your source box. So I did that already because I was worried about that exactly.
And Missouri.
Good, but I'm not sure. I'll try that in a second. Let's see. There's Missouri. Let's see all these John McClure's, but I found a Putnam County one. I don't know why. It's Ohio. Oh, this is a guy named Putnam. So anyway, that's not coming up. But anyway, I found item number 10 was I found two land grants where one that I knew was him because it had his wife's name in there, which we have. Second one I knew was him because he deeded his land to his son-in-law, Marshall King, which I know is our direct line. So that was fun to find. My mom has looked for this guy, his parents, for 40 years and never did find him. But we thought maybe land grants would give us a hint. So I haven't had a chance to go into that land grant very much yet, but I did find him in the right years.
So he'd be in your sources.
So he's in my source box now. I got to go look at it, but I'm going to try your idea and here. It's a bunch of Missouris. Whoops. Go to Iowa. Why are we at Iowa? Okay. Well, like I say, this is experimental, but it is,
Go to your source box.
well, I could, but that's so anybody got a name that they would want to look at in land records that you've had trouble finding? Yeah.
Yours, the no one's been able to find. So his name is Martin Daly. DALEY.
Okay. And
LEY.
L-E-Y.
LEY.
And what's his where is he from? Well, let's just do that much. How about a year? It's gonna be tough. 1780, and then we'll go 3 dots for up to what? 1850? 1860. Okay, let's just see what that does. Oh, that one, it doesn't use the same Google parameters.
Right.
There's a Erie, New York, Martin Daly, a case between John Doherty and Martin Daly. So there's quite a few hits, 554 of them.
A common name.
Is
So
that-
that's the problem. But
Okay.
we go back to early census.
Yeah. So you could play around with this and see what you come up with. But yeah, I thought it was a great new little resource. Okay, let's go back now to Family Search Labs. Family group trees, there was a class on that, but I'm not going to take the time to do that. But this AI search is a good one. If I go to the experiment here for Family Search AI, all this does is looks for answers to your research questions, not specific names. So it's only looking in the Help Center, the Wiki, Roots Text, and other places to find answers. So since I'm looking for the parents of John McClure, born in Kentucky, I'm going to say I could type it all out, but you don't have to. You just have to use keywords. Kentucky birth records. I'm just going to ask it where to find Kentucky birth records. And it's going to search in those areas, and it's going to tell me that they can be found through various searches. And it includes, where's my references? There. I had to pull down the references here. It has 9 references where I can find Kentucky birth records, all using the Family Search Wiki in this case. So I could just click on that and it would take me straight to the wiki, which is going to tell me real quick that the birth records in Kentucky aren't available before 1830. So since my John McClure was born about 1802, I don't even need to take the time to go waste my time looking there because it's not going to be there. And then it tells me another source from 1911 in My Heritage. And then it gives me some ideas about additional resources, substitute records, etc. Finding town of origin gives me some other hints to go start looking. So I thought that was useful, especially for new people who have no idea how to get started. If they at least know where they want to go and when, they can go to this AI and it'll take them right to some answers. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay. I wanted to share this one with you because I've heard some misinformation given from other instructors here about this, and that is that, you know how you can't see living people of somebody else's living people in Family Search, you can see their memories. Okay. So it's really important that you understand that. If anything you put in memories, unless you specifically mark it as private, it is available to anybody. So I'm going to demonstrate that. I asked for Rose's permission beforehand if I could do this with her memories. So I'm going to go back to Family Search and just go straight home here. Keep me signed in. Okay. Now watch what I do to do this. I'm going to go to Memories on the top line menu up here. And I'm just going to go to Overview. Okay, when I go to Overview, it gives me this page here. And it has another menu right here, a sub-menu. And I'm going to go to Find. Go to Find. I'm going to type in Rose Nyman. Hit Enter. And lo and behold, there's Rose and Jeff and Rose Nyman right there. And a whole bunch of other of memories that use the name Rose Nyman. They might not all be this Rose Nyman, but they pretty much are. Okay. So look at all those memories. I got to those. She's a living person, but I can get to them because memories are not protected unless you specifically mark private. Okay. So let's see if we can find anybody want me to try and find theirs? Okay. Dallin, like that, right?
Olson.
S-O-N.
No, we don't need that.
Okay,
Did I spell Dallin right?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go Dallin Olson. And there we go. Your 1966 yearbook photo, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
132.
Whoops.
I was number 32.
Whoa.
That was number 30.
Go back.
I missed it. So there's a whole bunch of your memories right there available.
Did you download those down?
Yeah. A young guy with a microphone.
Yeah,
First talk on a mission 2 weeks after you lost.
in Oslo.
Oh,
Oh, that got bad. Wow.
Who is that?
No wonder she married you. So,
What was
That's
it
cool.
called? The church movie you were in.
Oh, yeah.
My
Time for sewing.
Time for Sewing. A
time for sewing. Oh,
His brother-
interesting.
No.
I know.
S-O-W-I.
We are sewing.
So maybe
Time for
I could find another John McClure in here.
Oh.
Of course, it wouldn't be my John McClure, but look. Ooh, but maybe it would be.
Oh, man. I right smack in the middle, but I see the resemblance.
Let's try John J. McClure. Okay, now I got 1,000 results, or no, 10,000. I'm going to put the J in there and see what happens. Still got 10,000 results. Huh. I'm going to put John Jefferson McClure.
Believe in it.
Weird. It's not distinguishing. Oh, I got too many quotes for her. I put both quotes on one end.
Yeah, you have to put it in.
No results for John Jefferson. But I got a lot for John Jay. So I may have to go look at some of those guys because notice that there's documents as well as pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, there's only one John Jay. A deed of John J. McClure and Freelove Miller. Now, see, Freelove Miller isn't a name that I recognize, but they were in Iowa at one time. They ended up in Missouri. So that might be something. Wow. So see,
Buried in my quarters. Do
what's that?
you have any buried in my quarters?
No, I don't have any LDS relatives.
Oh.
My parents are converts. Actually, we did find there are a whole bunch of Whickers that are related way back that came to Delta and Fillmore, and that's probably where John Whicker came from. Anyway, so this is a possibility if you go to memories to find living people that may have more information about your ancestry. And you get a hold of them by just looking at their looking at who uploaded the memory. Like if I wanted to do this one, and it tells me at the bottom right that Jim West 6 is the one who contributed, I can click on him and see if I'm related to him, first of all, and otherwise chat with him, which really means send him a message through Family Search and say, hey, we might be related. What do you know about this? I found a John J. McClure while I was getting ready for this class, whose wife left him with a 6-year-old daughter and went off with another man. And it was all in the newspaper, exactly what happened. So that was pretty interesting. Oh, yeah. And I also found remember my grandfather was Forrest Clodfelder? I found a Mrs. Clodfelder in Georgia who set up a land scheme where she would say, I've got this big plot of land. I'm going to develop it. Buy your plot now. And a lot of people bought their plots, and then she ran off with their money, and she never even had any land to sell.
Oh, no.
And that was a big thing.
We hear things like that these days, but back then.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of scalawags back then. Okay. So we got time to do Record Seek. And this is, does anybody use Record Seek? Yeah, it's pretty powerful. You have to add it to your, let me get rid of this. You have to add it to your Google. Really? Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Well, you can probably tell, you can probably tell us a lot more than I know about it then. But it's a extension in Google. This little icon right up here that looks like a tree, kind of a blue tree. Oops. No, we don't have Record Seek on here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add Record Seek. So go to the shish kebab. That's the 3 dots up here, as opposed to the pancakes in other places, or the waffle over here on the left. See, that's the waffle. This is the shish kebab. Some places have menus that are layered of stuff. No, they're actually called this. Yep. So we're going to go to the shish kebab while we're in Google Chrome, and we're going to go down here to extensions. Want to see that? And then you go to Visit Chrome Web Store. So we're going to go there, and then you can search for an extension. And search. Just start typing it in, and there's the extension right there. It looks like a magnifying glass.
No, search different one.
This isn't the one?
That's search, which is a cool one, but
It's not record search.
Oops,
it's
fine.
not record seek. I just.
Oh, Record Seek. Oh, wait, Record Seek. That's not the one I was talking about. Yeah, that one's already on here. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about Roots Search. Yeah. So click on Roots Search, and it adds it to your extensions up here in this area here. So it added it right there. So I'm going to click on it here, and it has a blanks for you to fill in who you're looking for. And down here below, it has all kinds of genealogy sites that it can look for it. And it also has more sites. And you have to enable these sites. So they'll probably show up on your Chrome as disabled. And you've got to enable the ones you want to use. And then they'll show up in the list there. So you don't want to have to fill out all this information here unless you're just trying to do a real simple search. So what you can do, now that the extension is installed, I can go to a regular family search page here, go to my tree, and I'm going to go to John McClure just for fun. And he is a king. So somewhere. He's Marshall King's father-in-law, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go to the person of John McClure. It has all the information we have on him right now. And then I'm just going to go click on Root Search. And notice how the number 1 popped up? It says that it has information in other databases besides Family Search for this person. And if I click on it now, it automatically filled in all these fields with the information I already know about John Jefferson McClure. And then I go down here to all the websites, the genealogy sources that I have enabled within the extension. And you can search on any one of them. So I'm going to go to US Gen Web. And it says that it has 4,469 files that I might want to look at. So that, let's say that isn't what I want. So I'll go instead to Find My Past or Fold 3, the military place, or GeniaNet, or MyHeritage, or WikiTree. And I can look at any one of these I want to. I'll just go to Billion Graves. Oh, I didn't fill that one in. That's funny. Should have it all filled in. Let's try to find a graves. Yeah, there I had it filled in. And it didn't find anything. So I can kill that and go to the next one. So anyway, it's just a real quick way to fill in the information that you have and go to all these other sources to look for that person and see what they have in case there's anything of value.
Genealogy brokers, safety, something pops up.
Where is that one?
Left side, all the way down.
Right there.
Oh, genealogy books. Wow.
I find tons of stuff in that.
Do you really? Look at that.
Have to search through it.
John McClure Shoe Store, Harrison Street in Baltimore. Okay, so let's put a place in here. Let's put Missouri. See what we get, just for fun. Charlene Stream, I don't know. I'd have to look at it all, but
Let's see what that says.
which one?
Scroll up. The other way. Yeah. Oh, that's Virginia.
You can see a
You really gotta search through that.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is going to be a much faster way of doing it than the way my mother did it and had trouble finding something for 40 years. It may take me a couple hours to go through this, but it may lend a good thing. Have you ever had any really valuable finds like that, Cheryl?
I think you're referring to record search.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, record
Record seek.
record seek. Yeah, record seek. Yeah. Oh, I did. I wrote record seek. I don't mean record seek. See? There I am. Yeah, I know record seek attaches. That's good. Okay. So anyway, I just thought that was pretty good. Pretty good little tool. And then there's one more I want to show you. That is searchforancestors.com. And it has some old tools on it that have been disabled. So it's not as fully capable as it used to be, but it does still have an interesting couple of things. So searchforancestors.com. Up here at the top, it has some tools. Ancestry is put up because it no longer connects to Ancestry. So that one doesn't work. But this Google Searcher is pretty good. If you go to Google Searcher and just enter what you're looking for. So we're going to stick with John J. McClure. And it says to use, and it even reminds you to use the quotes here on this one. So we'll use the quotes. There's some information of somebody by his name in Wikipedia, an American politician from Pennsylvania. Well, my guy wasn't from Pennsylvania, so I can rule that out. But I can look down and see if I can find anything in Ohio. I mean, not in Ohio, in Missouri or Iowa, and see what I can find there. So that's a good one. The surname finder doesn't work. I tried that one. Surname origins doesn't work. But over here on tools, there's an age calculator or birth date calculator. So what day of the week were you born on, Keith? Do you know what day of the week you were born on? Most people don't. But we can find that out by going to this day of the week calculator if you wanted to give up your birthday. But if you don't, okay, I'll put mine in. So I was born July 1st of 1955 and calculate it. And I was born on a Friday. So, but it also, notice, has a lot of others. You can calculate ages. You can calculate when Easter was that year.
I have done that for a lady.
Yeah.
It changes. It's like,
it changes.
In March, in April. And so, I can't remember, 28 or something on Easter Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That changes. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Attention.
I have a daughter that was born on Easter Sunday, and this is only this year. It's going to be on Easter again for only the third time in her life. So.
What's your birthday?
31st of March.
My dad's was April 14th, and it would went on his one. So.
Yeah. Well, let's look. Easter holiday finder. Let's see when it. So, it doesn't let you do it backwards, though. You have to know the year. So, what year was he born? Okay. There's another place on Google that you can go find out when Easter was for any year you want to find. But anyway, I thought those were kind of fun. So we have 5 minutes left. I want to go try this this AI thing. You guys, you don't need. If anybody's done, you're excused. I just want to. Got to figure out my Microsoft thing because it's really fun.
It was interesting the class that they had on the AI where it will look at old records and be able to pick out the information for us to end it. That is going to go secret.
Mhm. Oh, the handwritten stuff? Yeah. Yeah, that is. It's really good.
That one that you showed us and where you have to sign in. Do you have to sign in every time you use it, or once you sign in, is it opened up?
To what?
Where you signed in to do
Records.
search the whole.
Research.
Oh, family search / labs. Yeah, you just have to sign in the family search once.
But just once, and then it'll just automatically open up after that. Every time.
Oh, you have to type in labs after family search. You can't, there's no link from family search to get to it. You have,
But when you enable the full text, you have to do that every time?
oh, you mean
Yes.
where we had the dozens of genealogy sites? No, you enable only the one
Once
time.
you enable it.
Yeah. Then it's there. Then it's there.
Some searching.
Yeah.
And then starts at the end and backs it off.
Yeah.
So that one goes.
You search them all in 1 minute.
Yeah, so they're all searching while you're
Yeah, and the reason they call it Copilot is really interesting because it doesn't, you can control it. It's not taking over and piloting for you. It's your co-pilot. So you have control of it. I thought that was pretty interesting. So who wants to be a guinea pig here? Who wants me to find out about their father or sister or daughter or
the one on your grandpa.
the one on your grandpa?
Do it. We'll see
Okay.
what pops up.
Okay, so let's say, let's go down here and ask me anything at the bottom. You see that? I gotta hide these controls here. I couldn't find it. Okay, spell it for me.
And then
Okay, where was he born? Or just give me anything else about him. We need more than one
construction, using construction.
construction worker. Be a construction worker. What state? All over. Huh?
Los Alamos.
Okay. Oh, let's put Los Alamos in.
Pictures of it.
Okay. Let's see what it says. Okay, Kenneth Wood, a construction worker, is involved in significant work at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Plutonium pit production.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary, you know?
Well, and like I say, it's not all accurate. It
Yeah.
probably got all this information. The plutonium pit, it just said, hey, Los Alamos was connected to plutonium pit. Let me tell you about the plutonium pit, even though the
Yeah.
grandpa may not have been specifically.
Yeah.
So I did it on my dad, and it said that he was a flight engineer in the U.S. Air Force. And then it started telling me about what a flight engineer does, you know, and that wasn't specifically my dad, but it found, since he was a flight engineer, I went out and found out what does a flight engineer do, and it told me. Anybody else want to try one? It's fun. Just see what it does.
I look at my brother, Bob Mars.
Should I say Bob or Robert?
Bob.
Okay.
And nothing but Bob and
Okay, give me something else about it. State.
he made saddles. He ran a saddle shop in Amarillo, Texas.
Okay, so let's just put saddle maker, Texas. See what it does. Steam American saddle maker. Well, he dedicated over 62 years to hand tooling exquisite saddles.
He's the only famous one I've got in my family. My brother. He
Wow.
died 2 years ago.
Look at this. He came up with the poinsettia motif.
Well, he used on his saddles. His sons were very famous. They were given awards at a lot of rodeos and things. And he's got a huge thing in the Cowboy Hall of Fame.
Isn't that neat? That is so neat. Look, there's a Bob Mars saddle restoration and preservation program in the works.
Sign up.
That's what I did.
Oh, and there's pictures of, saddles for sale, 2,500, 4,000, 17,150.
I don't know any.
Oh, and there's a map where they're made. Right there, where are we? Yep, there's Amarillo. Ha, that's cool.